Hey guys, and welcome to today's video where we're celebrating Minnie's 18th birthday, and I thought I'd do so by telling you some stories about her growing up and answering some of your questions. So, Minnie here, hatched 10th of September 2007, and I distinctly remember the breeder who I'd got Gizmo from the year before telling me there was this little baby that had not stopped hissing at everyone who went past her little box, and only a week before I arrived she stopped. And so she was a little bit sassy from the get-go, but she is the sweetest little gecko. So let's start off with the first question, which is, what morph is she? So like Gizmo, if you didn't know, Minnie and Gizmo are sisters. They are wild type morphs, so they're not actually like wild caught or anything like that. It's just their pattern, their morph is wild type with jungle, whatever that means. So as you can see, it's more of the traditional look of a leopard gecko, which personally I actually quite like. The next question is, what's up with her eye? This eye here. I actually have done a whole video about this, but to be brief, she hatched out like this. A lot of people go, oh, maybe she has a vitamin A deficiency. No, the eyelid's actually defective. It's almost like it curved in. This can happen if there's a slight fluctuation when eggs are incubating, like the slightest thing can cause this, and this is how she came out of the egg. When I got her, the breeder did ask whether I still want her, because she has this eye defect and it would need lifelong care. So you may notice it's a bit closed. She will start to try to open it up and lick it. Basically, when she sleeps all day, it will get like stuck closed. And if she's walking around the tank on her own, she'll probably keep it closed. But if she's interacting with me or hunting, anything like that, that's when she starts opening it. And I can put a bit of saline in there just to loosen it up. But of course, from the young age of 14, I've had to look after the eye. I've had it looked at by a vet. The actual surface of the eye is perfect. It's just this sometimes happens. It is what it is, and she gets on with it. And actually back in 2007, 2008, I was looking online for advice about, you know, what happens with geckos with eye defects, and all I ever found were forums of people saying that geckos with eye defects will not last a year. Well, here we are. The next question is, how much has your care changed since you got her? A lot, thankfully. When I first got her, she lived in an 18-inch faunarium. This is something I would use as a carrier now, not like a house or tank. At the time, it was like, oh, here's this new convenient thing that you can keep them in. Of course, I got that from a breeder, that advice from a breeder who would probably keep geckos in a more simpler setup. But yeah, that changed thankfully, and she did go into a vivarium. She eventually got UV and LED and lives in a 3-foot tank. So a lot of stuff has changed, and when you have an animal like a reptile that can live a long time, you will see that. You will see that when you start off with best intentions, you're doing everything that is the best of your knowledge at the time. But I mean, 18 years later, you see how much things have changed. And as long as you're changing with it and improving their lifestyle, you're doing well. You may notice right now, she does go to lick her eye, but sometimes she misses it. I don't know if it's a spatial awareness thing, but it can be tricky for her. So I might have to pop some saline in there. The next question is, what has given her most enrichment in her life? Okay, so this might sound very simple, but hunting. And also being able to dig, especially when she's like laying eggs and having that movable substrate to dig. But hunting, it might seem simple like this because we need so many different things to distract us, but actually to get that heart pumping, get her moving, being able to hunt, and also hunt independently despite her like eye defect, has been really good for her. And that meant, you know, we had to figure out ways of getting her to aim for food and how she can hunt it, and maybe, you know, finding hides that crickets might be able to run into, but then she can still catch them. So she could always hunt independently. I will say that's probably one of those things that have changed now. Like, I don't really like leaving crickets in the tank for her to eventually find within obviously 24 hours, because I don't want her to be harassed by them. I don't know if it's just because she's older now, I'm just like, I don't know if she'd bother with them, whereas when she was a bit younger, she would still take them on. Whereas now, she actually doesn't really want crickets at all. She much prefers locusts, so that's what she gets. And I do tend to hand feed her more. The next question is, does she still lay eggs? Well, the last time she laid eggs was 2023. Last year, she did not go off of her food. She did not show any of the signs that she was ovulating, and she hasn't done that this year either. So I think we can safely assume she's in the gecko menopause, which on one hand is good because then you don't have to deal with seeing her, you know, starve herself basically and go really skinny. This on the other hand means she is very, very old. But yeah, we don't have to deal with her trying to lay eggs anymore. Then we had, has her behaviour or needs changed since getting old? So sort of similar like with the feeding, I do tend to hand feed her more. I also try to keep her tank quite simple. I thought about changing it a few times, but actually, and this is mainly due to her eyesight, I want to keep everything very similar to what she's used to. So even if for some reason she wanted to keep both eyes shut, she could still find her way around her tank. But it's still enriching enough, like she will still climb up the background. She has no fear. But in terms of care, I guess the one thing I'd do, and you might notice it, like maybe her toe might have a little bit of skin on the nail here. I don't know if you see that white point. So that's on the nail and not actually on the toe. So it's not blocking any blood supply. However, these are very sensitive to her back legs. And back in the day, I could probably sit there for half an hour, 45 minutes getting any skin off. Now I give it a few days to, you know, because now I know there's no blood getting restricted here. You can see she doesn't really like that. And I'm not going to put her under that stress of half an hour, 45 minutes trying to get this off. We'll just do a little bit a day for a few days till we get it off. So I know that's not going to cause an issue and it puts less stress on her. I was also asked what's the biggest difference between an adult leopard gecko and an elderly leopard gecko. I would say elderly kind of creeps up on you because actually I feel like leopard geckos look great for like their whole life and they don't really like show much signs of aging until maybe like super old. So you get a lot of good years of them looking perfect. I will say she's lost her form a bit, but that's like her body form, like you get that with any animal including humans, like they're not going to look their peak. So sometimes I think if I showed her in a video or a photo, are people going, actually she looks quite good. Are people going to be like, oh, why'd she look like that? It's like, she's really old. I will say, and as I said, this might be controversial, as I've said in other videos, but the introduction of me offering her a pinky once a year, I think has done her wonders. And one of the reasons I was advised to do that, look at her, she actually looks quite good, was because of the collagen in it. And this year she had that Evo RX, and she's looking amazing actually. Could you imagine? She's 18. She's bright, she's got a nice tail on her, and she's always been the smallest out of my geckos, so she's never had like a really chunky tail, but she gets around. The other thing is, and you might notice this in her leg, I don't know if it's a little bit of arthritis she's getting now, but she does tend to move that leg a little bit weird. Like, it's not injured, it's not MBD, it's nothing like that, so it must just be a joint thing, and that might explain why her back legs are a little bit sensitive. But she still gets around absolutely fine, so I'm not too concerned. But yeah, I'm just so happy we can celebrate her 18th birthday. Like, Minnie has just always had such a special place in my heart, and I'm glad we've made this milestone. So she's still trying to look at her eye. Yeah, I don't know why this is. She does not do it this much. It might just be the bright light. Anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.